So speculation over a new wave of money printing by the Fed is at a fever pitch, and Chairman Ben Bernanke is in the congressional hot seat tomorrow to give answers. But I have one of the men who will be grilling him joining me tonight. Representative Kevin Brady is head of the Joint Economic Committee. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Melissa. Thanks for having me.
So what is your first question for Ben Bernanke tomorrow?
You know, my focus is going to be on one, what is he looking at for another round of quantitative easing? I hope he takes it off the table, frankly. QE1 to QE2 did little to stimulate the economy. QE3 would only, I think, create more uncertainty among job creators and increase the risk that down the line we're going to see significant inflation before the Fed can exit. The second issue, obviously, is the Eurozone. You know, what's his assessment of the severity of it? What's the contagion risk here to the United States? And his challenge, I think, for the chairman is to take off the table the thought that the U.S. will in some way create a direct or indirect bailout of the Eurozone should it get to that point. So the timing of the hearing couldn't be better.
Is there something he could say that could convince you that more quantitative easing of some type or more action from the Fed makes sense?
No, I really think the chairman ought to look the market in the eye and say, look, we have done more than we can do. In fact, he ought to look the president and Congress in the eye and say, look, we've done everything, and perhaps too much. Now, what's really holding back business investment in America is the financial condition of this country. It is a tax policy and the threat of higher taxes. It's a regulatory scheme that's just gotten out of control. I really think, for the recovery to go forward, it is not the Fed the job creators are looking at, it's fiscal policy.
Really? So I mean, build on that a little bit. What do you think could be done to create a job right now? If you don't think it's the Fed, what's one thing? Because this is something people ask all the time, was that if someone else was president, or, if you don't like the policies that are going on, give me one thing that could be done to create a job tomorrow.
Couple quick things. Take the tax cliff off the table. The president ought to immediately agree to extend those tax relief measures as they are for the foreseeable future and commit to fundamental reforms. Secondly, real significant sustainable reforms to Medicare and Social Security sends a signal to the whole world we're finally serious about getting our financial house in order. And three, I really think a moratorium on new regulations that are slowing the economy. All three of those things could have, I think, a real effect. Plus, I think there's concern among job creators about the president's health care law, the uncertainty of the Supreme Court. Not sure you can address that until we get a ruling, but in every employer's minds, it's very real.
A lot of people were really upset to see unemployment tick back up to 8.2%. Where do you think the economy is headed right now? Are we slowing further instead of getting better?
You know, what we're not seeing, I think, is the sustained job growth. At this point, 3.5 years into the recovery or after recession began, we ought to be 5 times this size of growth in job creation each month. Out of the 10 recoveries since World War II, this is dead last. So we've got a long way to go. We're all looking for those green shoots, but I really think the president's policies have held us back in a major way.
Yeah, Congressman Brady, thanks so much for joining us, and we will be watching tomorrow. We appreciate the preview.
Thank you, Melissa.